Well, that's a bass, that's a carp. As you can see, there's a fair difference, and as far as I'm concerned, there really is only one choice.
Cumberland Stories is made possible by the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians. Great Smokies, Great Outdoors, 1-800-438-1601. By Brunton, get out there.
And then I saw her face, well, I'm a believer, not a trace of doubt in my mind. I'm in love, ooh, yeah, I'm a believer, I couldn't leave her if I tried. 5 minutes. They came on sunshine, as they say.
Well, I'm anxious to see if this really works.
Me too. You know, pound for pound, a lot of guys talk about bass, and bass are absolutely nothing in comparison with these chaps.
Okay, guys, hang on to your hats and meet Rob Hughes, a British angler who is quite sure that carp fishing is going to become the next great American pastime.
They're a fantastic sport fish. People generally look at them and say, oh, they're mudsuckers, they're trash fish. They really are not. Pound for pound, they are like the freshwater bonefish. And if you talk to a lot of pros, they accept that is the case. You know, bonefish are the hardest fighting fish pound for pound in the world. And carp are like the freshwater bonefish. They really do fight hard. One down, plenty to go. Oops. There's loads of fish like this in this place, absolutely stacks of them. Don't put him out on the rocks. Put him down on a nice piece of grass like this, where he's not going to jump around and hurt himself too much. In England, we actually use mats. We put them on small beds. We check them out if they're okay. Just get this hook out. That should come out easily enough. And that is, in my opinion, the best fish in the world. Keep your bass, we'll have carp. You've got common carp, mirror carp, and leather carp.
And you're saying mirror?
Mirror.
Mirror?
Just as in mirror on the wall.
Okay.
And who is the greatest of them all? Well, the carp is, of course. Bass anglers, get that again. I'm checking this water out and I'm thinking, well, where do I think these carp are going to be? Are they going to be in the edge? Are they going to be in the middle? We've seen a lot of fish moving along this reed line, the weed line in the edge, so I know that fish do move down there. So what I do is I put a little bit of bait out, just enough for one fish to stop and think, oh, there you are, there's a bit of tasty meal for me. It'll stop and my hook bait will be with there. So the fish move in and that's setting traps.
I see.
The other thing is creating a banquet. So perhaps open water, I might put lots and lots and lots of bait out. And I'm not fishing for one fish then. What I'm trying to do is stop a whole shoal or a whole school of fish.
Right.
So if 50 fish move through here, they're not going to stop if I've got one bait out there. I might catch one fish, but the other 49 will swim past.
Right.
So what I'm trying to do with that big area in the middle is stop all 50. So I put a load out, I put peanuts out, I put maize out, I put corn out, I put birdseed out in a big table. So I'm basically making a banquet for these carp.
Right.
And they'll move in and they'll all stop and they'll all start feeding and they'll all start getting competitive with each other. And the biggest morsel is normally the one that they all want. So we put a big bait out on the hook and lots of small seed baits around to preoccupy the fish. And then suddenly they'll be nibbling around these small things, see my hook bait, which is big, think, wow, we'll have that, bang, got you.
Huh.
So at the moment, although I'm just fishing 2 rods, I've prepared 4 spots. And what I'll do is if I don't catch anything on one spot, I'll move one of those rods onto a different spot. It's proper match fishing really. Try a bit there, try a bit there. If there's nothing happens here for an hour, then we shift somewhere else, try a bit there.
The material that you chum with, does everybody basically use the same chum or do you have secret recipes?
Oh no,
or...
good Lord, no, we have secrets and if I told you I have to shoot you. No, we have, everybody's got their own favourites. There's lots of different companies in England that make baits and then we all add our own little secret things to them. Now one of the main baits we use in Europe are these little babies and they're called boilies. Basically these are paste baits rolled into balls and boiled with flavour in them and they go really, really hard. One of the difficulties that we've got with these, however, is getting them out in the lake. And the answer is this little kiddie. This is called a boilie stick. Pop one of those in there, turn around, and away we go. Carp fishing on a social basis is fantastic because as you see now, the rods are out, they're doing the work. So we can sit back, we can have a can of beer, we can have a bottle, we can have a cookout, you play football with the kids, whatever. You know, it's a very social thing to do. So we can come out on a day like today and it's fantastic. I'm part of something called the International Carp Fishing Association, and what we do is we run big tournaments all around the world. And what we're starting to do as from the back end of this year is run a World Series. And we run 3 tournaments within a 12-month period. This September coming up, there will be a competition in Romania. The following May, there will be a tournament here, in the US,
in Syracuse.
In Syracuse,
right
at
on
Lake
this water.
Onondaga, exactly where we are now. This will be the second leg of the ICFA World Tour, and then the third one will be the following winter, and that will be in South Africa. Remember, England's a small country. There's 4.5 million people go fishing. And in a recent Environment Agency survey, 55% of people just fish for carp and nothing else. So bass guys, cut them bass out, get on the carp. This is where it's at.
This man is wanting to bring carp to the U.S. It's going to take the country by storm. Golly.
Hello.
Wow. So there are tournaments in England that have a casting competition as well, right?
Indeed there are. We've got both accuracy and distance.
Okay.
And obviously the cast is one of the most important parts of fishing. If you're fishing to a bush that's 80 yards away, then you want to make sure that you've got to that bush, and a foot away is no good. Object of the game is try and get within a metre or so of that.
Okay.
If I'm near that, that's the feature I'm happy with. That. So for accuracy, I'm standing square onto wherever it is that I'm fishing, and away we go. So hopefully, that's a bit far to the right, but the distance isn't too bad.
Yeah, the distance is good. So you're actually, how are you calculating the distance with just how hard you?
Yeah, you get used to your own equipment, really. You know, you can feel where it's going. You get used to it. That's good. Oh, it's a bit right again.
You know, the wind may be catching it.
That's a good excuse. The wind is catching it. We like that. We like the wind.
We can always use the wind as an excuse.
The sun's a bit bright too. So what you're doing is swing it round the side.
All right. So it's straight back, hanging
Look at your target.
Okay.
Drop it on your head.
All right. Oh, golly.
Hey! Not bad.
Hey! That was probably 4 feet away from it, huh?
One of the most important parts of a carp angler's armoury is this thing, which is a bite alarm. And what we do, the rod sits in the rest on there, and if we switch it on, like that, we can see, and it will let us know exactly what's happening. We clip that on there. As you can see, it's very patriotic. And if the fish takes line, that will lift up and bleep at us. If a fish picks up line and swims back towards us, it slackens off, and that plays a different tune. And then when it goes away, so we know if we're sleeping or if we're over there perhaps enjoying ourselves, we know firstly that we've got a bite, and secondly whether the fish is going that way or it's coming this way. Keep pressure on.
Oh yeah, he's going with
Go
it.
on, more pressure.
He's taking drag. Uh-oh.
Keep the pressure on him.
Golly.
This is carp fishing.
Should I let him have line or should
You do what you think you need to do. Oh, that's a good size. That's nice. Yeah, I've seen him. He's a common about 15. I tell you what, that's bigger than mine.
Oh my gracious, Rob.
That might. Oh, that's careful with this one. That's one of the bigger ones.
Okay, should I play him a little bit?
Bring him in.
Wow.
Firstly,
boy,
let me shake your hand.
I'll shake your hand, man. Golly.
Can I ask you what the biggest freshwater fish you've caught is?
Freshwater fish is probably about 6 pounds.
Is it? I would say this is about 22.
My gosh. My goodness, I can't believe it.
Let's get him over there on the soft ground again. Look at the length on that baby.
Yeah, boy.
That's got to be, well, my feet are just about a foot long.
Oops. Watch out, big boy.
Cover your eyes. And I was going to walk along in there. He's about 2.5 foot long. I'll hold him up for everyone to see what you just caught.
Golly.
Hello.
Wow. Look at that mouth. It reminds me of somebody I used to work with.
Give us a kiss.
No, no. You
I'll
kiss
kiss
him.
you, darling. How's that?
A little mustache. That's great.
Yep. put him down. He's
Oh,
getting
sorry.
a bit heavy.
I'm sorry.
Well, we'll just walk him back in
Okay.
so we can fight.
Gosh, I'm so glad you're handling him. I know I would drop him.
Live to fight another day. We'll just dip him back in again.
Okay.
Let him have a breather.
Do carp have a slime coat like bass do?
No. Bass have a slime coat like carp do.
I see. I got it now, Rob.
It sees the food with its eyes, it smells the food with its nose, and when it comes in and hones in over the top of food, it feels for the food with these. They're barbules. You don't just have to fish for them the way that we fish for them as well. You can fly fish for them. If you like the action side of things, then you can fly fish for them, put dog biscuits out on the surface, and carp will feed on the surface. Everybody says they're mudsuckers. They're not. They feed mid-water, they feed on the surface.
Yeah.
Some people spin for them with lures, and they catch them on that.
Now, would that be a nice fish in England?
It'd be a reasonable fish in England. There's a lot that size.
But yours getting much bigger.
It's nice to catch the bigger ones. Our big fish are bigger than that.
And what's the biggest fish you've caught?
The biggest I've caught is 44 pounds, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, look at that. He likes me so much he wants to come back again. Go on, chap.
Setting your dog up for a mark, it's important that you put her in a position where she can see as much of that mark as possible. Remember, if you're at 6 feet and she's at 20 inches, if you see it splash, more times than not, it's going to disappear at the end of the fall to her. Now this is what the mark should look like from a dog's perspective. From the dog's perspective, you want to try to get that clear line of sight, whether it's on a mark or a blind. Sometimes that can mean moving just a little bit to the left or a little bit to the right, but just that little bit can make the difference between success and failure. We want to try to get the most clear line of sight to the target that we can get. Here, let me try to clean it up for you, baby. We've got some brush here to the right. Let's move over just a little bit to the left. We'll line her up, make sure we've got as clear a path as possible. Let her line up, see the picture on that target, bang, knock her loose and let her go. From a casting standpoint, she's out there at about 200 plus yards. I hit the whistle, she turns and takes a look. Now if I give just a little wimpy left-handed cast right here, she won't be able to pick it up. What I've got to do is I've got to walk this thing out like this. Over. Over. A retriever's eyes are her most important asset. Have fun. Come on, heel in here. Good. Before you get frustrated, try to see things from her perspective.
Yella Dog Diaries is brought to you by HuntSmart.com, America's premier source of products for hunters and their dogs. Cumberland Stories is made possible by Brunton. Get out there. And by the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians. Great Smokies, great outdoors. 1-800-438-1601. On the edge of the Ouachita Mountains in central Arkansas, my friend Alan Carter has a very cool farm that promises surprises with every visit. Alan is actually the senior fisheries biologist for the Arkansas Game and Fish Department, and he seems to know just about everything there is to know about fish and the places they live. Well, on a recent visit to the farm, I found out that, like many of us who love the outdoors, Alan is fascinated by a lot of nature. And his curiosity about the intricacies of the natural world have led him down some interesting paths. One of those paths ends at the edge of a pasture just a few hundred yards from the garden where Alan tends his honeybee hives.
They set up a current to draw the moisture out to cure that honey. And you see there the smoke's going in.
Listen to that.
Now they sense that smoke and you'll see them blow it back out. Look at that.
Oh my gosh.
Look at that, boy, it didn't go in there now at all.
They're actually using their wings to draw the moisture out of the honey.
Yeah, they're actually, they go out and they collect the nectar and put it in these little slots in the comb.
Right.
And then they have to draw the moisture out to cure it to make
right.
the honey.
If we took it out when it had too much moisture in it, it actually would ferment.
Right.
And then you'd have like honey wine
Right.
that probably didn't taste good.
Yeah, it would rot is what it would do. See, that one's not full
That
enough.
one's not ready, is it?
So we'll leave that one for them. And the other two won't be ready either. These two. Now, I've already been into this hive once this year and got 2 super fulls off
Oh,
of it.
really?
Yeah. We'll go ahead and take this super off
Okay.
and take the queen excluder off and get down into the hive body and see if we can find the queen.
All right. Now this wire thing here is the queen excluder.
That's right. It keeps the queen down in the hive body.
Because she's too big to get through that?
Right.
Oh, how cool. Now is this going to look different from the ones in the supers?
Yeah, there won't be as much honey.
God almighty. Oh my gosh, that is so
There won't be as much
cool.
honey on here.
Look at that.
All the workers are female, and all the males do is just lay around and eat and wait to be able to go breed a new queen.
Is that where they're meant to carry the pollen?
Yeah.
On their legs like that?
Yeah, that's where they get it. That's where they put it whenever they go to the plant. They carry it on their legs. This is a drone cell right here. Brian, I don't know if you can. That's a drone cell. It's taller. The drones are much larger bees than the worker females. The drones are the males.
Okay, I had to make Alan show me that all-important queen bee, and as part of his custodial duties, Alan's usually interested in checking on her as well.
There's the queen. See if you can see her.
Oh, I
anti-seed
do
mark.
see her, yeah.
Right there.
What'd you put on her?
Bee marking stuff.
Ah, but she is bigger, but you know what, Alan? I
Yeah.
don't know if I would have been able to pick her out.
Yeah, if you've been into them very often, you'd be able to. I mean, see how much longer she
Yeah, her
is?
body's a lot longer.
Yeah. I was putting a queen in a hive one time. I took the screen off and put it down there. She crawled out, flew off.
Oh, golly.
I'm going,
Oh,
$13.
yeah, $13 flying through the air.
In my hive.
Yeah.
You know, the reason you put a new queen in there is to get new broods, you know, a new stock.
New young.
Those that are just wandering around there, those are guards. If this hive is too weak and doesn't have enough guards, then yeah, a mouse could go in there and build a nest. See those? That's a hatched queen cell right there. And again, I don't see the queen. You know, I've had them before. I think they developed a new queen and then just swarm again.
Oh, really?
And that may have been what happened here.
So this is kind of bad news for you, right?
Yep. Not good. But it's the trials and tribulations of being
A
a
beekeeper.
bee hobbyist. Yeah.
Okay, here's your natural history lesson for the day. Honeybees are not native to the New World. Most were and continue to be brought here from Europe and are managed in apiaries all over the country by the people in the white suits and the netting that we know as beekeepers. We hear a lot about wild Africanized bees migrating into North America, and actually the best defense against these insects are healthy European bees. But that's not the only reason managed beehives are important.
And if we didn't have bees, we wouldn't have flowers.
Exactly.
And if we didn't have flowers, we wouldn't have trees and deer and.
They
right?
help pollinate.
Or pollinate, yeah.
That is their thing. Boy, I mean, if it wasn't for honeybees, we wouldn't have near the crops that we have. Alice made some rolls the other day, so we're going to have some honey and rolls.
Oh, yum.
We're going to cut the caps off. But you cut that cap off and then put it in that centrifuge over there, and we'll sling the honey out. And this knife is an electric knife. You know, back before they had electricity and all that, you take your knife and you just heat it over the stove.
Yeah.
In water or something like that. If you look close, you can see it slinging it onto the sides. Whenever it gets up to the top of that cone there, which is about 8 or 9 frames, then you have to pick it up and drain it into the jars. Now this will turn and move around. There you go. Whoops. Good pure honey.
Look how pretty the color is, just so pretty.
That is great looking honey, isn't it? Not too dark, not too light.
I have to imagine there are a lot of rewards to keeping bees, but probably the best reward is that fresh drawn honey on a biscuit.
There you go. Cheers.
Cheers.
That is good.
Boy.
Wow, that's good.